You're listening to Superpowers of the Soul on the Superpower Up Podcast, the show that elevates superpowers to the divine.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jennifer Urezzio, superpower expert, founder of Soul Language, and this is Superpowers of Your Soul. And I'm here with Brady Novotny, and we're talking about how to have self-belief in your passions. Welcome, Brady.
Thank you for having me on.
I'm so excited that you're here. It's I'm out on my porch, everyone, because it's been raining for like what it seems 100 days on the East Coast here. And
yes, sure.
I know, right? So if you hear the birds or the moosh, that's why you're hearing all the background noise. And Brady, I always like to start these conversations with getting us on the same page.
Sure.
And what do you consider the superpower of your soul?
The superpower of my soul, I would have to say my faith.
I love that. And I love that because, I think so often people think that faith or trust is this kind of, you don't have to choose it. And I think we often have to choose it. I think it's something from choice. So that I love that you're choosing to flex that faith superpower.
Yeah. I mean, it's what I've always leaned upon, and just about everything I do.
I love that. So we often talk about sacred purpose, and sacred purpose is about what you're profoundly here to experience, and then offer that experience to others. What do you consider your sacred purpose?
Well, I think I would have to say it continually kind of grows. As I definitely do music, being a guitar player and writing music, and that's a lot of my passion. And I'm also a therapist, a counselor. So I really enjoy helping people and help bring healing to others, either through music or through therapy. So I would have to say that would be it.
Love it. We often also talk about what our soul has shared up with us through our journey. What is something that your soul has shared with you through your journey, especially your journey in music?
I'm sorry, you broke up there. Can you?
Sure. What has something that your soul has shared with you through your journey, especially with your journey in music?
Yeah. Well, it brings out a lot of different things. It's really cathartic, and that you get to play, music that kind of heals your own heart and your own soul. At the same time, it also brings up a lot of your own insecurities, because, when you create something and you put it out there, you open yourself up for criticism, and you wonder if people are going to like it, and are people going to show up to the gigs and all that stuff. So, it's almost like when there's a positive, like, okay, yeah, I want to do this, and it feels good to record it and they listen to it. But there's also sometimes a negative thing you have to battle. And I think that's where, the faith and believing in what your purpose is, you can overcome that battle.
Love that. And, your music sounds like it's a huge support for others. Can you explain to me or explain to our audience how, what does playing your music, what do you feel that it offers support to your listeners?
Sure. Well, a lot of the music is predominantly instrumental, and allows the listener to paint their own picture of what it means to them. And I try to incorporate a lot of different sounds into it. There's a lot of different guitar type sounds in it, but hopefully my goal in all of it was to help the listener to, either reminisce about some good times that they've been through, possibly get through some grief that, the loss of a loved one. I wrote a song, and it was, it was dedicated to my mom, who passed away a few years ago. And that was something that a lot of people, when they listened to it, they said, tell me about this. And so, it has no words in it, but people wanted to know what is it about this song that I want to know more about? And when I share the story, they're like, well, can I have that for my, I lost my husband, or I lost my wife, or I lost my mother. And I said, absolutely, that's what it's written for. So
beautiful. So it seems like part of that gift, which I, of course, excuse me, that happens with all music, right?
Yeah, right.
That vibrational activation of healing. And especially, it sounds like with your power of intention behind the music, people really understand that and really get that. So before we go on our break here, let people know how to reach you, how to get information, and even, how to sample your music.
Sure. There's a lot of places you can go, but I tell people if they want the one-stop shop, that would be my website, and that's www.bradynovotny, BradyNovotny.com. And on that website, there's links to all my social media, YouTube, and that shows some of my videos and some of my explanations of the songs. And of course, you can always look me up on Spotify if you're interested in streaming it. And, I sell physical copies, the CD, and you can download it on iTunes and Amazon as well.
Beautiful. Okay, everyone, stay tuned. We'll be back in a minute.
Hello, everyone. This is Tonya Don Rekla, Executive Director of Superpower Experts, and we want to thank each of you for making Superpower Up the #1 podcast network for personal development and spiritual growth. Because people like you have the courage to say that mindfulness, healthy living, disrupting reality, the pursuit of consciousness, responsible entrepreneurship, and radical parenting matter, we now amass over 1 million downloads monthly in more than 90 countries. Our numbers keep growing because there are far more people willing to live divergently than mass media wants to acknowledge. For you, the change makers, the light bearers, the way showers, we say thank you. If you're ready to take the next step in your evolution, go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the Superpower quiz. And as Neva Lee Rekla, our youngest podcaster, likes to remind us, remember, we all have superpowers and we can change the world.
Everyone, welcome back to the Superpowers of the Soul. And I'm with Brady Novotny today. And we're talking about how to have self-belief in your passion. So, one of my closest friends from high school, which, is, I can't tell you how long ago I graduated, but he has made his living as a folk singer.
Okay.
Yeah, he's recorded with some really big names. He knows the Guthries, so he really has a firm grasp in his passion. But, in knowing his story and knowing who he is, he's constantly had to refuel that passion for himself and keep generating that self-belief. How do you go about kind of refueling your passion and really creating this ongoing self-belief of that not only are you worthy to, express that music, but you'll also receive from it?
Sure. Well, one person told me, and I thought it was pretty good advice. You have to look at it from natural side as well. If you're looking to try to get famous, you're going to be disappointed very, very easily. I think looking at music as a business, you have to approach it that way as well. So you have to look at the natural side of it, but the I guess the more part of the soul that keeps you going is it's art. You have to, there's something about, people who like to create. If they don't, they start to get depressed, and they lose all their, all their fun in life. And when an artist creates, he feels the passion and, what I say, the gift from God. It's really about, feeling that gift that was given to, people that do create. And I think we all create stuff. But as far as music, there's that just that gift. And if we don't create it, I believe, eventually the soul starts to feel a grief, and you just have to, keep on creating, no matter if it's just for you or your family or tens of thousands of people.
Yeah, I think what that interpretation is not really the soul feeling grief. What I think is the human acknowledging that the soul keeps sending out signals and the human's not answering it.
Mm-hmm.
I think, because that soul is just pure love and goodness. It doesn't, have that kind of human condition that we have. But I think that when we don't have that ongoing passion, that the human part of that experience really does kind of suffer and really loses that zest for life.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Sure.
yeah. So, have you, when did you start playing, and when did you really decide that this was going to be your dedicated? I know you have this kind of dual thing, right? But when did you decide to make that leap to say, this is where I'm going to follow my passion?
Probably at a young age. I think it's, in childhood, you have, you really have any negative experiences when you're learning how to play at 10. You just play, and you see all the people back then, which was on MTV, and you thought it was like, this is possible, and you dream and dream and dream before life kind of hits you in the face, and you really, it's a part of that I think that's good when it hits you so young, because then you just you love to play music, and it resonates with your soul, and like you said, the vibrations and of the notes and the chords and the melodies. It's just something that and when you feel that you can do that, it just makes it all the worthwhile, and it just resonates with you. So I started out probably when I was 11, and I've been playing ever since. So it's been a fun journey. It's been a tool in my life that has kept me away from a lot of bad things, and has kept me, centered and just creating in life. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's true of passion in general, right? When we tap into that passion that really feeds or expresses our soul, what that allows us to do is it allows us to make choices based on that nurturing passion, and it allows us to make choices that's going to fulfill more of that passion, and so it propels us forward. And can you share with us an experience that a moment in your journey where you had that recognition of, oh wow, I am making, or I can make a difference doing my passion?
Sure. Well, even from when I was young, people would say, I'd go to parties, when you're in high school or whatever, and everybody would say, well, come bring your guitar. So I was always the guy entertaining people, and so I never got into any of the trouble that everybody else got into. So I saw the way that I didn't really have to escape life through means of drugs or alcohol or anything like that. I escaped life, or not escaped life, but pursued life more with the music. But even later on, I was a worship leader at a church, and to bring music to into that type of atmosphere, and to celebrate God and everything was really definitely a unique experience. And it's not just about singing songs, but it's about a purpose greater than yourself. And that's seeing that, and seeing thousands of people enter into the same purpose was pretty amazing.
Beautiful. I'm making a note because you said something cool that I want to include in the little notes section.
Sure.
So what is, because I love all these kind of insight. So what are some of the music that you listen to? Like, who are your favorites? Who has inspired your passion?
Sure. Well, I started out playing classical guitar, but as a teenager, I was heavily into the rock music, and so I would listen to a lot of guitar, what they call guitar heroes, which would have been back in the 80s. Where that would be like Randy Rhoads, Eddie Van Halen, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
No, them well.
Okay, yeah. So all of those guys, you try to emulate and you learn from them. So I mean, that was the standard back then. So that's what you had to do. And back then, there wasn't any cell phones or anything like that. You either went outside and played, or you practiced the guitar. And so it was a unique time to really dive in, to doing, something that I felt was a calling. So, but yeah, those would be my main influences, or main people that kind of kept me going during that time.
Do you feel that because of the landscape has changed so much, do you think that it's easier to fulfill your passions now? Because there's so many different opportunities for people to, we can pick up our iPhone and learn how to play.
Yeah.
So do you think that's supporting passion, or do you think that takes away from passion?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people have different views on that. I try to remain positive about it all. Back then there was, you were only exposed to what the record companies would allow. Nowadays, Spotify or whatever, you can click on anything and get, I think somebody said that there's 40,000 new songs uploaded to Spotify every day. So wow. Unfortunately, it's a little bit oversaturated because you have to weed out the things that aren't really, to your liking, or possibly not even really good, but it does create an opportunity to where now more than ever, at the click of a button, your song, your art can go around the world, so it's pretty cool time we live in to do this. Before, you would write a song and record it and then have to ask permission to send it to a record company, and then in 3 or 4 weeks they'd get back to you and say yes, and then you'd send it out and then wait 2 months and then you would get a reply. Now it's like you write a song, you can just hit a button and it's out there. So it's kind of neat.
So before I ask my last question here, how do people get in touch with you? Give out us all the detail on how to hear you and connect with you.
Yeah, well, I'm based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I play tri-state around here right now. But once again, just on my website, BradyNovotny.com. Facebook's Brady Novotny Music, and Instagram, I think it's Brady Novotny Official. So and on YouTube, just type my name in, and I will be there. And you can check out the stuff, and so if you like it, please let me know.
And if you like it, also share it.
Yes, that's always a good thing.
So if you were a magnet on whatever you call your higher powers refrigerator, whether that's God, universe, tree, what would your magnet say?
My magnet, I would, I like that, because I, in my day, what I do as a therapist, I believe our thoughts are magnets, and and I would want to say that that we can do this, that you can do this, and that you have to fight life through a little bit, but once you find your passion, you can do this, and you can help others, whatever that is. If that's healing or encouraging or laughing or loving or all of the above. You can do this, and don't give up. Don't let anything else come between what's really in your heart.
Love that. Well, thank you. It's a very long magnet, but I like it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing yourself with us today and telling us about your passion and your music. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having me on.
If you like what you heard, you can connect with me and all the other experts in the Superpower Net at superpowerexperts.com/the net. Thanks a lot, and don't forget, not just to find your connection, but to be your connection.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the Superpower Quiz today.